The United States government, through Senator John Kerry, delivered an offer to the Sudanese government today, basically offering that Sudan would be removed from the U.S. list of state sponsors of terrorism if the Sudanese government would support and not be an obstacle to a southern Sudanese referendum on independence that is supposed to take place on January 9th. The conflict in Sudan goes back to even a struggle during colonialism to unite two pretty distinct entities. On the one hand, an Arab-oriented Muslim entity seated at Khartoum. On the other hand is a southern black African entity that was much more integrated with Central Africa, countries such as Uganda, Congo, and Kenya. So Sudan has had a contested history, and it's only been a few years now, since 2005 in fact, that the country has not been at civil war. The United States was heavily involved in mediating an end to that 25-year-long crisis. In 2005, both sides in Sudan, the North and the South, signed a comprehensive peace agreement, or CPA, to end that conflict and bring about some kind of greater political and economic sharing between the two halves of that country. But the heart of the matter and what makes relations between these two countries very difficult is the location of the singular economic resource that country possesses, and that's oil, and that is found pretty much on the dividing line between North and South Sudan. And determining who controls that oil, who controls the revenues of that oil, who controls the output routes of that oil, that is rife with trouble, and that's at the heart of how difficult these negotiations are right now leading up to Southern Sudan's possible independence. If South Sudan secedes with control over the country's oil resources, Khartoum can see its economic viability vanish. This is what is at stake for Khartoum: its viability as a leading oil-producing state in Africa. On the other hand, however, if Southern Sudan votes for independence but does not gain control over the contested oil fields, Khartoum's happy. Khartoum can see this unproductive territory become an independent state, but Khartoum retains control over those 500,000 barrels of oil a day, and Khartoum can safeguard its economic interests. So at this point, there has to be cooperation between the two sides in Sudan, the government in Khartoum and a possible new independent government in Juba. And the basic fact is there's only one true export route for the country's oil, and that is through Northern Territory to Port Sudan on the Red Sea. Southern Sudan does not have any truly viable oil export routes. So at this point, Southern Sudan and the government in Khartoum must cooperate to export the country's oil.